All right, hello. I did not do a live video today. I decided to do something I was going to record it, so I probably would be distracted and stuff like that. All right, so today I'm going to talk about, I talked about oils and stuff like that. I'm going to talk about real quickly shadow work. I keep getting questions about people asking me exactly what it is about shadow work that you need to be doing, that you need to be understanding. You're trying to do it, you don't exactly know how. Shadow work is basically straight across the board dealing with your past. A lot of the reason why people can't move forward in life magically or mundane is because they're holding on to something that either like an action that they've done or something that they've done or something that they've said, and it could have had a big magnitude on life, or it could have been very small. Either way, it was impactful enough to where it changed the trajectory of your life, right? And so it could have been that you had kids, or it could have been that you was a hoe. It could have been that you did some bad things and you were quote unquote a criminal and you changed your life. It could have been that, you did people wrong and you was fucking around or whatever. The multitude of things may be. Shadow work is really dealing with the root of why you did this or why you did that. Like, what is the underlying effect of why you did what you did? And how can you be fucking better? That's what shadow work is. That's where self-love comes in. That's where self-preservation comes in. And that's where owning your shit comes in. People love to talk about my past, and they like to talk about the things that I've done prior to me getting here. This is not going to be a long video because I want you to understand two things. The first thing is everything you did in the past came from a place of unhealing. It came from a place of you not dealing with the shit. It came from a place of you just in search of something and getting a quick fix of something. The second thing about it is it's relevant to today because it shows you how far you've grown. Nobody is the same that they were last year, the year before that, the year before that. However, we don't live in that. We live in the accept me, please love me, please, you're better than me, you're worth more than me. So we put so much emphasis on how another person feel about our life instead of us loving us enough. I'm going to tell you about me. I've always been transparent about me. I will never change that. I almost went to prison. The word is almost. I did my work. I've done everything that I was instructed to do, and I live my life in a way that models that. I came from a very tumultuous past. I was adopted by my great aunt. She raised me. She taught me pretty much every fucking thing I know about the occult, the way she lived her life and everything else. I chose not dealing with the fact that I was like adopted and shit. I chose to just act out because that's what we do when we are not really ready. And some of it comes from immaturity, some of it comes from everything else. I was also raped at 14, and I was raped by a family member. It is not something that I have ever really openly just talked about, but I was raped at 14. I had a baby at 15, and my baby was given away. I know that I have dealt with those things and I've healed from those things because they don't make me cry when I talk about them. I pray and hope one day that my daughter sees this because I had a daughter and she's able to understand, grow, and want to get to know me. If that never happens, I hope that she had a wonderful life. But 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, on up until my 30s, I had a very destructive behavior. And I did a bunch of chaos magic. I would do protective magic over my bullshit that I was doing because that's what it was. And you got to be accountable for that. Now, I'm in my 40s now. And how I was as a teenager, 20s and 30s, I don't look at life that way now. And really, it was the occult that saved my life. And I say that all the time because it made me responsible, it made me accountable, and it made me aware. And those are the three things: accountable, responsible, and aware. Because if you're accountable for everything that you do or everything that you've done and you can accept it, that becomes the responsibility part. Well, now I know not to do those things. Now I know I got to figure out why I did those things. What are the root? And then Loving yourself past that, being aware. What triggers you? I know what used to trigger me. If somebody raised their voice at me, I'd be ready to kick their ass and go off. I'm a Taurus. It is what it is, right? But I had to learn how to be aware of that. I had the most terrible relationships with women. I either wanted to sleep with them to control them, or I just didn't want to be around them. Okay. So everything I did, I moved in that type of way. And the reason why I'm being so vulnerable and I'm sharing so much is because I want you guys to understand the growth of where I started from to where I am now. And that's what people miss. They don't want to do the A, B, C, D, E, F, G. They just want to jump to T. They want to jump to U. And that's not how this works. We want all the power, all the magic, all the conjure, all of that. But what we fail to give ourselves is our peace. What we fail to give ourselves is our healing opportunity. The words divine timing have a reason. It's because everything has to happen in divine timing. And we don't want that either. We want to skip steps to be this great conjure worker. We want to skip steps to be this great witch or whatever you want to call yourself. But the fact of the matter is, you got to claim your good and your bad. People will say, well, your past is your past and leave it there. No, that's something to build off of. Be proud of who you are today. I am. But I had to identify what triggers me. I knew that everything I did was unhealthy. Even the magic. The magic came from emotional stuff. It came from um, being not in a not so good place. Um, the things that I did in my past came from being in not so good place, because the first thing that when you aren't healed, you will attack yourself and you will self-sabotage. You got to deal with the roots. I realized that a lot of what I did, because I always felt rejected. My mother gave me away at 3 days old. So that was something for me. 3 days old. My mother decided when she was pregnant with me that she didn't want me. And to hear that being told to me, it's like, damn, how did she know I was that bad of a person that she didn't even want that relationship? But I had to heal from that, because the fact of the matter is, my mother was a different person. Her mother had just died. She was a fucking teenager. I'm not excusing like the relationships with our parents and stuff like that, but I am excusing and I'm forgiving the fact that sometimes people just don't know. And believe it or not, sometimes people are loving you at their best by staying away from you. But we take that internally and say, well, what did I do wrong? There's absolutely nothing I could have done wrong at 3 days old. Nothing. So I had to come to terms with all of that stuff. And I had to see my value. I had to see my worth. I had to know that I'm worth everything. I deserve everything. Not because these things are happening to me, because people do that too. That's called entitlement. But I deserve them because I put in the work. You can't make me feel bad about my past. You can't make me feel bad about anything, because I accept it all. If I wouldn't have been those people then, or those doing those things then, I couldn't be here today changing lives. And the first life that I had to change was mine. So if you can learn anything from this, if you can learn anything from my experiences and my history and my past, and how to build yourself up and stop giving a fuck about these people that really don't deal with none of their shit, that's why they can deflect onto you. And that's where the power comes in. That's where the everything comes in. I'm able to be a better conjurer, a better wife, a better mother, a better grandmother, a better business owner, because I learned how to do my shadow work. I learned how to work on my self-love, and I learned to look at myself in the mirror and say, sis, you are right. All is well. You might need to work on this, and this, and that's okay. But as long as you are aware and you can acknowledge it, you can do anything. You want to know what makes me the best? Because I'm the best within myself. I'm not in competition with anybody. I'm not trying to compete. Oh, I'm this. No, I'm my own voodoo queen. I'm my own Creole goddess. I am. And then you could be your own voodoo queen too, and your own Creole goddess as well. This is what I choose, because I said that's what it is. And it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, because nobody's walking this journey with me. Nobody. Nobody but my family, my friends, my husband, the people that choose to be there. And it's a choice. When I say shadow work, I literally mean getting down to the root of why you are, why you think the way you think, why you breathe the way you think you do, why you live the way you live. Some people can't accept that. And if there's a block that you can't accept it, then maybe you need help. Maybe you need somebody to mentor you. Maybe you need some counseling. Because some of us don't need magic. We need medication. And that's okay too, because you got to get to your baseline. And if you're not able to get to it by yourself, it is nothing wrong with needing help. People tentatively think that depression and all of this shit here, that, it's something that you have to fight alone. You don't. Use magic to heal first. Candelo said that getting over an addiction, you can use a watermelon. Like, there's so many fucking things that you can do to move past things and to really push through. But you got to deal with that shadow self. That's just the darker version. That's just the bad stuff, the stuff that you don't want to get out. But it's the stuff that leads to your jealousy. It's the stuff that leads to your hatred. It's the stuff that leads to you making unhealthy decisions. Y'all want me to do so many workings showing y'all magic, but y'all won't do the workings and the magic on yourself. How does that work? You want me to see you and to love you and to cuddle you and to do all these things with you, but you don't do them to yourself. How does that work? You guys put this unrealistic title on me or put me on a pedestal. I'm just a human being. I still do fucked up stuff. I'm not perfect, but I know how to acknowledge that. And not just acknowledge it, but work on it and deal with it and heal from it. And a lot of people aren't prepared for that type of work because it leaves them exposed. But sometimes you have to be exposed. Sometimes you just have to. Why do you think that God will remove people or remove things out of your life? It's so that you can learn. Painful as it may be, it's so that you can learn. Some of y'all, the only way to get your attention is for you to be alone. And you wonder why you keep battling that same test over and over again, because you're not winning. You're not getting it. You guys are asking the divine, God, whatever you want to call him, to do all these things for you, right? Then when he puts you in a position for those things to be done, you're not ready for it. And why you're not ready for it is you. Because he thought that, or she thought you was ready for it because they made it happen. You was like, I want to be aligned. I want to be centered. I want to be this. And then they remove all those people out of your life that will hinder you from that happening. But you asked for it. How do you keep asking for these things and you're getting them, but you don't want them? This is where the shadow work comes in at. You wonder why you can't keep them in. You wonder why, you constantly into it with your kids. They're a reflection of you. I keep telling y'all are the gods and goddesses of your home. You are. You're what people see. You're what your kids see. Your kids are a reflection of you. So if you always in drama, you always into some shit, your kids gonna always be into some shit too. You might not like me saying it, but it's the fucking fact. You lay next to a nigga that don't even respect you, but you want the world to respect you. You lay next to somebody that wouldn't even spit on you if he was on fire. And how you know that is because he's told you that. See, the thing about it is with me, I would never give you a second time to tell me something negative. You only get one time. You say you don't want me, fine. Never give a person an opportunity to tell you they don't want you twice, because when they come at you twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, it's going to be worse, 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 worse. And then you wonder why they don't respect you, because you gave them the okay. But if you do your shadow work, if you are a person that always have to constantly be in a relationship, take some time off, sis. Get that pussy rest, that mouth rest, in your body, your heart, and your soul rest, and be by yourself. Heal, cleanse, 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 heal, cleanse. In that order. Like, you have to do that. Even with me, I had to take time and just be by myself and get to know myself and heal. And so I could tell the person how to treat me, because you have to teach people how to treat you, magically or mundane. Shadow work, shadow work, shadow work. Stop being afraid of it. It's still you. You have the power to create your own narrative. My godfather Sam, we say that all the time. Do it and write your story beautifully. Yeah, chapters 1 through 10 was tough than a motherfucker, but chapter 11 can be beautiful because you are deciding to be healed. You are deciding to give yourself a beautiful experience. Guys, do your work. Do your work, do your work, do your work. A lot of you guys are chasing niggas and you should be chasing yourself. Do your work. I am Magical Lady Duchess. This is just my morning moment of just sharing how I feel about shadow work. Do it. It's not a bad thing. It's a great thing because it will change your life. Peace and many blessings to you. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. I will respond to them, I promise. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about yourself. Y'all are too beautiful on the outside to not be reflecting on the inside. You're not your mother's collateral damage. You are not her mistake. You're not your dad's mistake. Get that through y'all. I had to get that through me. That's why I can love so much, even though I am so hated. People do not care for me, okay? And I know that. And that's okay. But there are so many others that do. There are so many others that their lives are changed. There are so many others that see the beauty, not just in themselves, but in me and in the world around them. But that takes removing those layers, and it's hard being vulnerable. But you can do it. If I can do it, you can too. So many blessings to you guys. I hope y'all receive this message with all the good intentions that I was meant to give through this video. You are everything. When are y'all gonna get this?